Hi guys! I am excited for us to get back to opinion writing. All right, so today I want to teach you that when you want your writing to persuade people, which is what we're trying to do, you need to think about your audience. So your audience is your readers, and you want to work to reach that audience. So one way to reach your audience is to address them directly. Miss Maxella, what does that mean? So, figuring out what your audience is thinking can be tricky, right? Because we're not mind readers here. So, I'm going to read my piece from last week about Miss Debbie out loud, and I want you guys to act as the audience, okay? So try to pay attention to what you're thinking or to what you could be thinking if this whole appreciation thing isn't your cup of tea, right? You're like, well, how does this apply to me? Or, sometimes people think that when they're reading certain things. So let's look back at what I had from last week. Everyone should appreciate Miss Debbie, the school custodian. Miss Debbie is wonderful because she takes such good care of our school. She comes in every day before the kids come to sweep and vacuum our hallways. Also, Miss Debbie does a lot of things to keep the school running smoothly. Honestly, you guys, I know from last week that we can write even more than this and take our writing to the next level. So, as the audience to the speech, you're probably thinking, is it that amazing that she comes every day and cleans our halls and classrooms? Because, after all, that is her job. So, it's kind of like in my writing, I was stating the obvious, right? I'm telling you about Miss Debbie's job that most of us already know about, and that's okay, but now we need to take it to the next level, okay? So we want to address our audience directly. You want to say, which lines would you add where you talk directly to the listeners? So you're trying to figure this out in your own writing piece. Is there another spot where you could directly address the audience? Okay, so we're going to be thinking about that. There is another way to address your audience directly, and that's by asking questions. Asking questions can be so important during writing because you're really getting those, your audience or the reader involved. Sometimes the writer asks a question directly to the reader, like you might ask the reader a question that makes them want to answer the question and read on. Let's take a look at our writing about Miss Debbie from last week, right? So we already read that. Now I want you guys to see how I added just a little bit more. And the part that I added is underlined. Everyone should appreciate Miss Debbie, the school custodian. Miss Debbie is wonderful because she takes such good care of our school. She comes in every day before the kids come to sweep and vacuum our hallways. Do you wonder why she builds relationships with kids? It's because kids are important to her and she wants to help them. Also, Miss Debbie does a lot of things to keep the school running smoothly. If we did not have Miss Debbie, our school wouldn't shine as bright. So what I did there is I added a question. I kind of answered the question, and I added an ending to kind of wrap everything up. So I went back to my old piece and I added more. Okay. So these are just some question examples if you were to write about a new noteworthy person, or if you're just going to keep adding to your first writing about your noteworthy person from last week. So these are just example sentences or questions. Have you ever stopped to thank the people who fix your lunch every day? Why don't people thank the crossing guard more? Have you ever had trouble finding a book that you want to read and wished there were more magazines in our library? If the reader can relate to the question, they will be more likely to read on or continue listening to the speech. That's a fact. So today, you guys are going to try this out. You're either going to keep writing about your noteworthy person from last week, or you can write a new write about a new person, a place, thing, or idea that you feel is noteworthy, that you feel like deserves to be recognized. Or you can write a new piece about a problem you see and a solution that you are imagining that maybe you feel passionate about. So those are your two choices today. And I challenge all of you guys to write even more. Don't forget capitals, don't forget punctuation, and don't forget to add that question in there to connect with your audience and your reader. Because you guys, everybody can see what you're writing too on Seesaw, so you can go in and pop in and see what everybody else is writing about. And so you want to reach your audience. Here are some different prompts if you guys need them. Just some ways to help you talk to our audience. And they're just sentence starters. So if you want to pause this and use this in your writing today, you go ahead. All right, I cannot wait to read what you guys come up with.